Yes, someone respond. Oh, okay, so, hey, what I just said, I'll say at the end. But, don't forget, next Wednesday is Festool Live. We have a huge announcement. Okay, it's about the connectors, and it's the 700 connectors, but I'm also going to cover the DF 700. What, man? Woohoo! And audio's on. Thank you for your patience. Okay, everybody come on over. I'm going to start like this on the 700 connectors. Check this out. When I first opened up one of these sustainers, I looked inside and I went, what the heck is this? This looks wicked confusing. I will demystify the connectors. Then I did this. I opened up these instructions, and I'm getting younger by the day, but my eyes, I had to sit there for quite some time to understand these instructions. So what I did, and like I showed you on the DF500, I took these and I blew them up. Okay, and this is my legend. You see how I've laminated it? Every time I use the connectors, I open this up and I check just a couple increments of measurement. Okay, so what are the connectors? They're knockdown fasteners. And when I did it, first time I ever did a training on them, I remember this one gal, good friend of mine, Julie, she said, Sedge, what's a knockdown fastener? And I looked at her and I said, hey, Jules, quick question for you. Do you get a bed? She looked at me and laughed. I go, yeah. I go, what size? And she goes, queen. And I go, how'd you get it in your house? And she goes, oh, I assembled it up in the bedroom. I went, that's right. That's what knockdown fasteners are. So when you come over here and you look at something like this is what we did 2 weeks ago. I showed you how to do a right angle in a through mortise. In other words, cabinetry, knock down, lay flat. What's this? That's my Jim Neighbors 8-track tape Christmas album. Woohoo! How'd that get here? Okay, so when we talk about the 700, it's always for something larger, right? Okay, like why do I need a 700? Because I'm doing bigger stuff, and every one of us wants to build bigger stuff, like a queen size frame for a bed. Okay, now if we look at this, and I'm going to hold this up. You know that what I just showed you in that sustainer? That's all it is. It's just that it's componentized. Okay? This is a surface connector, and this is a right angle connector. There's just 2 connectors. With the DF500 connectors, there's 4. Okay? And you can go back and rewatch that because it's on YouTube. Okay? Now, so what we're going to do today is I'm going to show you how all this works. We're going to do a right angle joint, and we're going to do a surface connector joint. Okay? Now, why do I need these? Well, think about it. This is a table-based structure I'm working on, and I'm designing it for my basement because it gets cold out in the garage, and I want to do some hand tool work this winter. And this has been on my to-do list. Big D and I, when I was showing him how to use the connectors on Wednesday, him and I knocked all the joinery out on this. What, Big D? Half hour? Yeah. And I showed him how the connectors worked. Okay, because what the right angle connector is this part here is a wedge anchor. It lives inside the leg, and I'll show you how all this goes together. And this uses, and remember this, the XL, you need a 14 millimeter cutter, okay, for this to work. The Domino XL comes with a 12 millimeter cutter, so you're going to have to get a 14 millimeter cutter. And then I'll show you how all this works and how to create, come in here, Chris, this access point for this 4 millimeter conical tip screw, okay, which goes into what I call, or what we call, the cross anchor that draws it together. Okay, so that's the right angle joint, and that is why. Now, if anybody's ever built kitchens before, and you're assembling a countertop, and I'm always talking about, or how about, and I see a lot of people like this, out on Instagram, they're putting together bar tops. You don't carry the whole bar top in, you make it in sections, okay? But you gotta pull it together as you set it on your structure below. Okay, so see this? I leave this in the training center all the time. Somebody says, oh yeah, it's a 2x6. Actually, it's 2 2x6s. And this is what lives inside this. It's called a surface connector. And it's built with the cross anchors, the screw. The only thing that changes is the bolt and the measurements on how to set this up. I'm going to do this one with you as well today. Okay? But the best example that I've always seen for this is, and I want to cover a question. I'm going to set these two components down. This is a large countertop or a bar top, and it comes in this way, makes a right angle, goes this way. So I cut it on a 45. Okay? I don't put connectors all the way through. Chris, come in here, so hopefully we can see this. I'm going to open this up just a little. Okay, look, I got a domino here. Okay, I got a connector here, connector here, connector here. And what's in there is one of those surface anchors. So I'm going to put this together. I'm going to bring it together like this. Okay, and this is what I want to show you as I do this. Okay, and bring it together. Everybody wanted to know this. I'm going to separate this. I'm going to get my hex key that I like to use. I know it's over here somewhere. Oh, right here. Woohoo! Hiding. Okay. It comes with a 4mm hex key, but I like using T's like this. This is 4mm. So I tightened up these screws, and this is what I want to show you as I do this. The measurements I'll give you today, okay, this acts like what we call in typical woodworking joinery, like a draw bore. Okay, see this screw right here? It is sitting right here. So as I tighten it in, it finds its equilibrium because that's conical. Okay, so look, check this out. I've already tightened that side. What I always wanted to know when I first saw this is how much does it draw together? And this makes a really tight joint. And you'll see as I start to close this joint up how it all pulls together. And these are wicked strong. Cool. Okay, so there you go. So, you know what? Enough talking. Hopefully you understand why Domino DF500 XL connectors. But let's go and break these instructions down, okay? Good. So the first one I'm going to do is a right angle. And I always did, and this is what I did for the workbench. I made a mock-up, okay? I got a piece of 4x4 cedar and a 2x6 cedar. Okay, and I label everything. I think Big D was like freaking out how much I marked up this table the other day. But I don't want to forget because I've invested time, okay, some money, but time in processing my pieces. I label everything. Okay, and I always joke around and say, hey, you make everything really dark and bold. I go, yeah, because guess what? We make really good sanders to remove these marks. I don't want to forget where I need to do my mortising, and I don't want to forget exactly where that mortise is because I want it to be from the back side, not the front side, and this is where the measurements come in. Okay, so my 4x4 is here, and what I'm going to do today is I'm not going to make it flush. I wanted to put it exactly in the center. So what I did, as I did this, is I laid out center on my leg, and I laid out a center line right here on my, and hopefully we can get a visual of this, Chris. I want my board right there in the center. So then I had to go about and do some measurements. And this is where I give you some tips and tricks. The important thing is I always mark my face of my board. Chris, come in so we can see this. Okay, I always make an X, okay, here and here. And I make an arrow in the direction I'm going to take the machine. Follow? Good. Now, to do this part, I'm going to use the pins on the machine. And on the Domino XL, okay, check this out, you have 3 pins, and you can lock them back. All right? To release the pins, it's right here and right here. Now, let me tell you the measurements on these. The first pin is 20mm. To the second pin is like the 500, it's 37mm. And to the third pin on each side is 50. Today, we're going to use the 37mm. It makes it easy. So I just lock that back so I don't get confused. We're also going to be plunging vertically at some point to create this access hole right here, okay, for the cross anchor. Guess what? In my head, I'm plunging vertically. I'm going to use this. It's called a support bracket. Do you know what it does? Supports it when I'm plunging vertically. Okay. Always make sure that this doesn't get impeded by this. A great way to ensure that is using the Vaxis. Now, I'm going to make one more measurement so I can do a quick alignment on this so I don't get confused. I am going to take this. I know I'm going 37 and 37 here, but I need to make a line here because if you think about it, I can't access a pin here. So now I have to make one more layout line for this. And I am going to get a fine tip pencil. I usually have about 100 of them over here. And I do. Ooh, purple's the color today. So I got to lay this out at 37 millimeter. Give me 1 second here. Actually, I'm going to flip this around so I can read this. We good? Good. 36, 36, 37. So there we go. There's 37. And there's my center line. I don't need it when I'm mortising the apron, but I definitely need it here when I'm mortising, because here we go. Watch. And I'll take this over. Okay, when I'm definitely, see, I want this flush here, so I'll use the pin on the leg here and the pin here. Then, when I do this piece, I'll use the pin on here because this will be laying flat, horizontal. But this one, I have to have access. Hopefully, I'm being clear here, so that's why I made a layout mark. Okay, and I'm going to make my mark here, and then, once again, don't get confused. Yep, here we go. Bam! I'll take it and I'll wrap it. That way there. Ooh, man, this must be a 7 millimeter lead. I'm going to take it and then I'll wrap it. Just like this, because I need to see it from the top here. And I'll take it just like this and do a quick wrap. That'll be perfect. Now, the reason I want to get exact with my layout is because when you're using, the one thing I always check is you're using the, this is your tight and loose for the XL and also for the regular 500 connectors. Your setting is in tight. There's one other setting that you need loose, but we're not covering that today. So this is roughly 40 millimeters thick. Okay, 1.5 inches, you guys know 2x material. Okay, into the center is 20. That's where I want to put it, or close enough, as long as I reference the plate every time from the same face. That's why you label. And Derek, I think yesterday, Big D, I think Wednesday, we spent quite a bit of time doing layout. The mortising was nothing. Nothing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, and inside the window here, okay, because there's going to be some good tips on this gauge block. It's a reference point. You see 20? That is the distance I need as I lock this back. That is the distance from here to the center of the bit. Okay? Perfect. This is the plate, as I've said before, and this bottom part's the base. I always call this PH, plate height. So when I lay things out, I'm going to turn on my Vaxis, and I know we got this mic now, so I know you can hear me still. Okay, let me lock this in. Okay, get it right up in there. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to put this on here, and I look at my layout. I got my marks. I know I'm going boom, boom. Okay, plate height is 20, and the first plunge depth, this is all spelled out in the instructions, is 50. So I do that, and I lock it in. See that? 50. You don't have to lock it in, but I just do this just for my head. Okay, I'm almost ready to start mortising. I think I should get this done. Good. Right on time, guys. Okay, I got my plate height. Now, the nice thing about the Domino XL, you see these little tabs here? Sometimes I don't get the bite I want, or they're in the way. They're spring loaded, so I can actually move them out of the way like that. See that? Okay, good. I always verify that I'm at 90. And when you put a plug-it cord in, always make sure that it's a full quarter turn. Cool. Okay, so let me get a little bit of distance here so I can get my body in here, and I'm ready to go. So, Chris, if we can get this underneath here, I want to show you how I'm registering that 37 pin in there. See that? Okay, now, the other nice thing about it is I felt that, but I don't even have to. Chris, come on up here so you can see this. If you look right down here, you see that first triangle? That shows you that I am shouldered right there. Follow? So I'm going to turn this on. And remember, the plate is lying flat. I push from the back of the machine. Okay? And then I grab from the other side that 37 millimeter. Okay, and my plunge depth is 50. So I'll pull that back. Now, from the back, because I don't want to put these in the front, and I'll show you where everybody gets confused on these. Okay, I need to put these two pieces in. These are the cross anchors. I always do this when I'm labeling, so I know. The other thing is I am not doing this one. I'm going to put a tenon in here. Okay, I'm going to use today I'm going to use for demonstration. I'm going to use a 50 and a 14 by 75. I only need to make one mortise. So in the instructions, it tells you the distance from here to where you need that access point is what? Is 40 millimeters. So I have to take my plate. I'm going to loosen the plate height lever. Hopefully we get this. And right here, I'm going to put, for my reference point, 40. Okay? Good. Now where you, sorry. Whoa, too close, Mo. Whoop, 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 whoop. Now where you have to measure is this. Okay? And this is where I've seen a lot of people make mistakes. This is my backside. This is where I'm going to be plunging in. Okay? I don't want to see that. I can put a cover cap. We have different color cover caps. I need to measure roughly to the center of that mortise. Okay? We know because this is 40, it's 20. Okay? But what if it was, let's just say, from the backside, this wasn't exactly 40. Maybe it turned out where this ended up 18. Okay? In the instructions, it says you have to take that center line measurement and add 10 millimeter. Okay, so if it read 28, I made this mistake the first time, and then I realized this is a great teaching point for you. If I went like this and it read 18, not 20, and I said, okay, I'm going to set it at 28. There is no 28 for plunge depth. So what I did is I set it at 25. I go, what does 3 millimeters make? You always round up. So if it said 18 and I measured, instead of setting it at 25, I always go to the 30, round up. Okay? So I know this is 20. What's 10 plus 20? Minnie? 30. She's not paying attention. I caught her not paying attention today. So this is my top. Woo! This is why I label everything. It's not this one I have to do. Sorry. This is why I always double check. It's this one. So I'm going to take this. I'm going to set my measurements at 40 and my PD plunge depth at 30. Okay, I'm going to lock it in. I'll do this right now like this. I'll just verify once again. There's my X. Okay. Now, what I've done is I have grabbed that 37 pin on this side. And I see a lot of people holding this. They'll grab it back here or whatever. My pressure, and you'll see this little bridge. Chris, come over here so you can see this. See this little bridge right here? I won't hurt. I don't bite. See this right here? My thumb is right here. And when I turn this on, I'm going to plunge. See that? And that gives me that little extra, so that cross anchor sits just right. So I'm going to take that, make sure there's no dust in there, set my cross anchor in, and now I'm going to start the other part of the equation, the leg, so I can show you how that works. So I'm going to take this, and I'm going to take it and put my leg right on here like this. Beautiful. Get that like that. I've done all my labeling, okay? This is where I'm going to eyeball it, still in tight, okay? But I'm going to use the pin at 37. Now, the plate height to get to the center, I measured from this face to the center line, is 45. Here's a great tip for you. I use this all the time. I always, let me show you. You can set this. You see this little cursor right here? I could take that, and I could move it up and set it at 45. See? And with my eyes, that's great, okay? But what if I have to repeat this? Maybe in a year or two, okay, because something breaks. I'm not going to get it exactly at 45. But that's why I use this gauge block. But see how it says 40? Look, right there. And that's the reference, and it bottoms out right here. This is what I've always done. I've always used shim stock. and I know the perfect 5 millimeters is the Domino 5 by 30. It has to be a Domino. Good one, Chris. And I got to lock it in just like that. So now I know I'm 40 plus 5 is 45, and I'll go right in the center. Okay? Another great tip for you. Here we go. Uh-oh. There I am rushing it. I'm not rushing. Okay. See how I have set at 30? This is designed into the math on the connectors. The plunge depth is 25. And that 25 is for this piece of the puzzle, what we call the wedge anchor. Okay, and you'll see it's threaded. So, phew, that was a good catch. That's why I looked right here, 45, and my PD is plunge depth. Label, 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 everybody. So away we go, 37. Okay, and then my next lineup, Chris, come in here. As you see right here, I have my cursor and the top of that triangle. That allows me to get it dead on exactly where I want it. Okay, so that's done. Now, got to remember how this is going in, just like this. So this is where this goes in. And you're going to see, you're not going to see it, but when I take the bolt and put it in here and threads down, these spread out. Minnie, does that say Marvin Martin? Hey, Marvin, how are ya? When I knock that in, knock it flush. Okay? Let me show you. Right inside the lid here of the Sustainer is a 4 millimeter hex. Okay? And you can take this and go like this. But what if I have a boatload of these? The distance across the flats is 10 millimeter. So what I do at home when I have a lot of these is, and this is a really great application. The other day I was talking about why the low speed. Well, I don't want to go really fast and shear that off. So what I'll do is I put let me just show you what I did. I have a hex adapter, 1/4 inch hex adapter. I put it right in here like this, and I can take this, okay, and there you go. Now, what you have to do, though, is you see this little taper in here? That has to face to the back. So what I'll do is you'll have to bottom it out and then make sure that's facing back. Whew, we're almost done. So I'm going to take it like that. I am going to take, and it comes with the set, the 75 millimeter long 14s, okay? And I want to show you something. See how that can get tight? Okay? What I like to show everybody when they've come into training is never sand, because I hear this all the time, oh, I make a dry fit set of dominoes. Never sand this part of it. That's called the face of domino, because what you do is you lose glue line if this is going to be a glue up. Right here, you'll see these little ribs. You can either take sandpaper, or what I like to do, because this is a knockdown, is I like to knock that rib off with a quick block plane. Take it like this, and look how nice that sits in there still. See how it's all starting to line up? So what I'm going to do, just because I get a better eyeball on this, I'm going to back it this way so that screw sits just right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this just like this. Okay, see, look how that's nice and perfectly flush. And then I'm going to take my hex, and you're going to see how all of this just comes right together and pulls in wicked, wicked strong. Now, on this workbench, you see the length of this tenon? Okay? I wanted more glue line or more length in here, so I used these 100s. Okay? That's where on this one I went 25 and that one I went 50. These are 50 and 50 in depth. I just want to tell you that because you can make this your system, but just remember to label everything. There's just, look how tight this is, guys. Nice and super, super strong. Cool? How are we doing on time? Good. I'm going to knock out the next one is really easy. That's the surface connector. I'll set these aside. Always make a sample of what you're building. But what I'm going to do is the surface connector. I want to put these two pieces together. I mean, this could actually be a handrail, if you think about it. All right? I want to get a little more support on this, so I'm going to change the pod on the Vaxis. And when you do that, there's a little groove and a little pin right here. I'm just going to set that in, let it set like that. Okay, just where I want it. And I'm going to take the first piece. Now, the labeling on this is a little bit easier because there's no really workaround. Your plunge depth is 50, and I'll set that now as I'm gabbing. And my plate height is 20. Now, one of the common questions we get, and I'm sure we were talking earlier, Brent and I, one of the questions you've probably already asked, what's the minimum thickness you can utilize for this? It's 30 millimeter. That's a very common question. But I measured this. It's roughly 40 millimeters thick. Half of 40 is what? 20. Man, we got metric in the house. Okay, so I'm going to set my plate height at 20 and my plunge depth at 50. You get that, Chris? Right there, that's 50. Cool? Woo! Okay, so let's get rocking and rolling. Let's get mortising. Beautimus. Actually, I don't want that to be a springboard. I'm going to bring it right in there so it's nice and tight. Okay, here we go. I'm going to come from here 37 and 37. Just makes it easy. I'll verify my pins. Beautiful. Make sure my plate's bottomed out and my plate is at a 90. Plunge depth 50. Rock and roll. So here we go. Always remember you're plunging in line and you got to make sure that that plate is sitting flat. And always plunge at a steady rate. Not Bonnie rate, steady rate. Hey, Mo! All right. Man. Hey, Minnie. Did you see what we have over there, that Jim Neighbors Christmas album? We're going to have one heck of a we just got to get that, that 8-track tape player. Woo! Jim is an Indiana institution, isn't he? Yeah, he really is. All right. Oh, we're doing connectors. Okay. See the two mortises? Just like that, gang? Boom. Okay, so now what do we got to create? The access holes. Okay? Remember the measurement? I'll do it again just so it's kind of a refresher. Hey, Chris, is that your name? All right, good. Hey, forget about it. Okay, so when we measure this, look. Okay, so if I look at this, this is 38 millimeter, okay? Because I want my access holes from the back. So you see where it's reading roughly 18? We got to add 10. What is that, 27? No, 18 plus 10. There's my math. That's why I have many in here. It's 28. So, no, that's not going to do it. So let's round up. My plunge depth is 30. Perfect. And it's easy, and I do this all the time just for my pea brain. Look, I do this, and I see how I've done it. And my plunge depth, label it, everybody. Plate height, 40. Plunge depth, 30. All right? Hey, is that really? Hey, that's Vincenzo and Dominic from Festool Canada Repair. How's my buddies? Woo-hoo! All right, I love you guys. Man, you guys are awesome. Okay, so I set my plate height at 40. All right, and my plunge depth at what? 30. All right, let's do it. Oh, it's a good day. Whew. All right. Somebody from Ireland? I had to postpone my trip, Ireland. I was going to be there in October, but we postponed it to 2021. Had to do it. Sorry, but I'm going to be in Dublin, baby. All right. So there we go. I'm going to set it up, and I'm going to do two mortises at 30, okay, and another one at 30. My pressure's here. I'm plunging vertical. I'm plunging at a steady rate. Okay, there's one. Here's the next one. That's the beauty of the Vaxis. It really speeds up the operation. I inadvertently popped the pin. And this is a good tip for you. Anytime you go to switch pins, this machine should be turned off, because that domino bit is coming right to the surface here. Okay, so make sure this is turned off. I have to reset them because I accidentally hit my green button. Okay, just a quick safety tip. Good, let's get going. Whew. Okay. I got all excited there because Vinny and Dom are watching. Woo! Okay, so there we go. All right, there we go. Netherlands, Hawaii, Arizona. No way. Tyler, how are you? Tyler Clark, how the hell are you, buddy? I miss you. Woo! Cool. Boy, there's a lot of people on there today, Minnie. I'm going to remember everybody because you're here. All right. So what I'm doing now is I'm putting in the cross anchors, okay? And that's where that little conical 4mm hex screw lives, okay? Now, I didn't do this before, but I want to do it now, okay? I'm going to get these are the posts for the inline. And what is shared with these are these. Okay, these are the little domino shells. So what you have to do, I already had that right angle built, okay, is these are the same things that you build on the post for the right angle, which is right here. Okay, that's threaded. You see how I put that together? Across the flat here is now 14mm, and they go right inside these little lines here, or indentations, okay? And that's how you build these, just like this. And that slides in like that. Let's do another one. What are you laughing at? Oh, okay, cool. There we go. All right, cool. And I'll just build another one really quick, just like this. Man, I hope you guys all tune in next Wednesday, because I couldn't believe it when they told me today what we're going to do for you. It's amazing. Okay, so there we go. There we go. Let's take this. Oh, let's do this. Whoop, 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 whoop. So Chris can get a good shot in here. Let's get these out of the way. Let's get this in here like this. And you see how that's facing toward there. We tuck it in like that. And I like using that hex. Oh, man, I'm all over it. Oh, there you are. Cool. And I'm going to tighten this one up. And yes, for your impact, you can get I get these all the time. I get a driver that's 4mm if I have to take a boatload of these apart. Okay, and let's do this. I want you to see how this pulls together like a draw bore. Just, oh my goodness. Every time I do this, I get excited. See? I mean, you could put handrails like this together, just like this. Check it out. Look at that. So that's the surface connector. And those are the Domino XL connectors. Whew! All right, we've been going for a while. Let me call everybody out. Wow, John from Toronto says, hey, John, how are you? Good to see you. Good. Okay, we have people from Malta again, UK, Australia. Hopefully that's you, Mr. Formosa. Okay, SFO. San Francisco. Oh my God. From NC, North Carolina, San Francisco. From Minnesota. South Africa, Argentina, Belgium, Cali, all over, baby. Germany, woo, the fatherland. Okay, Amsterdam, Poland, Vancouver, D.C. Is that District of Columbia? Okay, Delaware. I feel like I'm on Wayne's World. Hey, Delaware. And Iran. Okay. What else? Okay, so, next question. It's not really a question, but it's a request. And believe it or not, we are scheduled out for quite some time, but that's one I want to do one on. We're going to do a full class or a full Festool live on the Vaxis, because everybody sees the Vaxis. They see this holder I've made. Okay. Actually, I saw somebody make one, and this is 3.0. I have a different one at home. I'm always tweaking it. I'll show you how I did that. But I also want to teach you how to make custom pods or custom templates, and you'll see that. Yes, I will. We will do one on the Vaxis. Okay. So, people from India, Utah. Oh my God, no way. This is a really remote place. Greenwood, Indiana. Brent, is that you? Okay. Everybody, remember, next Wednesday is when we're going to do Festool Live next week at 12 noon. It's huge, okay? I just want to make sure you understand that because I would definitely tune in because we have something really nice for everybody. Okay, I want to thank Derek, Chris, Minnie, Brent, Philip, everybody out there. But most importantly, my big thank you this week is to you. We read all your comments. We take it all to heart, and we want to make sure this continues. We want to make sure that this Festool Live is for you. Woo! Talk to you guys later. Thank you, and happy Festool Friday.